Hello everyone, thank you all for joining. And I was working on my gearing video, almost finishing it, and then some leaked footage of Zhongli versus the new weekly boss Child came out, and I just had to make a video because I'm so excited for Zhongli. And I just wanted to have a closer look with you guys, think about what's happening on screen, what the skills are, and there are some interesting changes from apparently the first beta. But let's dive straight in. I will first just play the footage of him. I won't comment on it then. So as you can see here, we're looking at a level 70 child boss versus a level 80 Zhongli. So that's important to note. But let's have a look.
Stabilize.
You're wide open. Coward already?
Stable up. Quake.
How unbecoming. Passable time.
Gather.
Let the show be.
Not bad, not bad. Not bad. You've got a trick or two.
Stabilize.
Raising tide. All you do is run.
Let's go, protect us.
You've got some skills.
Gather. Crumble. Gather. Solidify.
Oh, protect us.
This is order.
So that was some awesome footage, to be honest. And as you can see here, we already get a glimpse of the new talent level materials. I will freeze that at the end of the video to have a closer look. But immediately there were some interesting things. He seems to be using Kunwu's Iris Rift, but the ability is different than the current Genshin.dg description. If we look, we get 5 new weapons and they all have the same ability, which reads increases shield strength by 20% for 8 seconds. After landing a hit, increases attack by 4%, max 5 stacks. In addition, when protected by shield, increase the above attack buff by 100%. So a pretty nice weapon. And the subset is attack percent as well. So it definitely helps with the damage here. As you can see there was something very interesting because he uses his E. Now initially, from the previous leaks, it seemed that tapping would summon a geo construct, which he does later in the video, but holding would make nearby geo elements explode, creating a shield based on the damage deals. It seems that has been reworked and you can hold the E to just generate the shield. I assume that will be based on Zhongli's max HP, but that was interesting nonetheless. Now we can see him going into his normal attack string, and something interesting here, he deals quite a lot of physical damage, but his normal attack string doesn't deal that much damage. It's very much in line with Mona, for example, but he has a lot of attacks in a short amount of time. But do note, this Zhongli does seem to be built for physical damage, or at least physical attack. Now here we can see the construct coming down, and that's interesting because when we look at the constellations, most of his constellations have to do with the geo constructs. So his first allows you to create 2, his second constellation gives shields when you're nearby a geo construct, and his fourth constellation buffs his ultimate, and constellation 6 is while shields are active, 40% of the damage converted is converted into restoration. So you have a sort of pseudo healing effect. I think the first one is really interesting. I think the second one is kind of interesting, and the fourth one is pretty interesting because the petrify duration by 2 seconds is interesting. Now when we look, the radius of the AoE damage isn't that big, so Child is currently outside. What we see here is we see some geo damage coming off of the, I assume this is a second press of his E, so it deals geo damage, and it generates shield again. So that's quite interesting. Again, barely any geo damage in his new normal attack. So if you build him as a physical attacker, make sure you get physical damage on him. Activates his shield again. Child is pretty interesting. I wouldn't, by the way, think that the Child we will be summoning for also switches to electric when he switches weapons. I assume that will all be Hydro. I think the Lucian characters will be something that comes down later down the line, and this Child we will be summoning for will just be full on Hydro with a bow main weapon. Now here we can see again, now it crits, so 3400. I think this is like 100% crit damage radios, but as you can see, the Zhongli does get geo damage bonus when he ascends, so that's interesting. And make sure you start farming those core lapis if you want to level him. But it is quite a bit of geo damage, and that's also what I'm interested in the most, because I'm definitely gonna set him up as a support unit. Because his abilities are so crazy. I think the damage we're seeing here is good, but it's nothing that a Keqing can do better. And while I think he looks awesome as a DPS unit, I think you're sacrificing a lot of geo damage. Now here he activates his shield again. I assume this is the Hold E ability. Child looks awesome. This entire fight looks awesome. The music is awesome. This seems to be a bit like the wolf fight where you're dodging him. I do think what you saw there is like he dealt a bit of damage again, gets his shield restored, deals a bit of damage. Like the damage isn't bad, and I would definitely think it's viable to build him this way, especially when you consider that you can get some physical damage bonus on there. Now Child is Hydro in this form, by the way, so that's kinda interesting. So he's back to his Vision form, or Abyss form, I'm not sure. Now here the Power of Wills, you'll probably need it if you want to get both. And now we're going into Zhongli's ultimate, which again looks awesome. Here 20k damage, which is huge, but there's a reason for that, because his ult skill, as you can see here at level 7, has a 705% damage modifier. It petrifies for 5 seconds. It has a cooldown of 12 seconds, and it only costs 40 energy. Crazy, but again, this is very much in line with Mona's elemental burst. So low base attack. Let's just look at it again because it looks so awesome. The Power of Wills versus a massive rock, which is probably your wallet at the end if you're summoning for both. So that's, yeah, an awesome fight. I think Zhongli looks awesome. The weapon looks good. I'm not sure if I'm going for the weapon because I'm building this as support, so I'm more interested in energy recharge. Here we can see the new talent leveling material, which I assume you will need for both Xiao, Zhongli and Child. So awesome to have a look at this footage. Shame it was a bit cropped. I would have loved to see the energy recharge rate of him and his ability recharges, because it was 4 seconds. I'm not sure if it's still that, but still an awesome first look. I really want to get him. And thank you all for watching. You can look forward to a gearing guide, and that guide is just there to get you some help when you're gearing, what you need to be noticing. That will come online probably tonight or tomorrow. Again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for the support. Still, I'm amazed at the amount of views I'm getting. I never expected that in this first month. Thank you all, and I'll see you all in the next one.